then when the furnace goes out and you pull your blankets back, you go, who the hell did this to me?
Loaded for bear, loaded for bear. He ain't got a reason, he ain't got a care, 'cause he's loaded for bear, loaded for bear.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Thanks for coming back to the lodge. I hope you've been surviving the apocalypse all right. This week we're going to talk about how to stay warm in the winter. And I got to tell you, I live in Michigan where it's a gray, snowy hellscape pretty much 8 months of the year. And this question actually comes from a buddy of mine, Trevor Tress. Look him up, very funny dude. He wanted to know some survival tactics to stay warm in cold weather conditions. And to quote the late great Jon Snow from the HBO's, winter is coming. And whether it's the regular conventional winter or nuclear winter after the elections in November, we're going to get into some cold times here. So anyways, I'm going to go over some things you can do to survive both in your car if you're out and about on the roads in the winter, or if you lose your furnace or lose heat in your home in the winter. So first and foremost, I'm gonna get into a little project. It's a little hobo kind of hobo trash can fire you can do at home. Get yourself a old coffee can. Make sure it's a metal one. And then from there, get yourself a little cocktail candles. These little guys, you know, when you're at a nice dinner and they put them in a glass, you get it. Anyway, so put your candle, right, in your metal trash can fire. You know what? I got a small lighter, so we're going to do this first. Fire alarm. Watch out for that. Now you can keep this in your car. You can keep these in your home. Drop it on down into your metal coffee container. Now, you can bolster it up by having a longer candle and actually put pebbles and rocks and sand around that. And a longer candle with the pebbles and the rocks and the sand in the coffee container will actually make more insulation, so the heat bouncing around will actually get trapped by the rocks and the sand and actually make this a better heater. But if you don't have rocks and sand, or you don't have long candles, or all you have is the old metal coffee can and some cocktail candles, light that, put that in there, and if you want, you could put a blanket or something, but be careful because of a fire. But you keep that there. This starts to insulate up. I tell you, it's nice. My hands are warming up. Got yourself just a little heater. And if you're in your car or, you know, a tent or something like that, just put it in. Ooh, warms up your loins. That feels good. All right, everybody. So, little mobile trash can fire for you. Metal coffee can, candle, and then if you want, you can do a longer candle with a layer of rocks and sand. Maybe I'll do an in-depth video on just this someday. But that's something you can keep in your car, in your house. You keep little fire heater going for you. Let's talk about if you're in your home, right? Twice in my life, I've woken up and my furnace has gone out. And I swear to God, I have never woken up more pissed in my life than when the furnace goes out and you pull your blankets back. You go, who the hell did this to me? No God on earth would do this to me. And then you realize that hell is in fact a snowy wasteland. Most of the time, mid-Michigan. If your gas isn't out, but just your furnace, you can actually turn your oven on, and this is, you got to be safe doing all this stuff. Open your oven up, and you crank it as high as you want. Pull that oven door open, and let the hot air from your kitchen just radiate throughout the house. Is it going to be the best fix in the world? Absolutely not. But will it warm up your house a little bit, or in a real survival situation, heat your house up for a little bit? Yeah, a little bit. Something else you can also do if you're in your home, if you still have electricity, I would say buy them now. Maybe I'll link them in Amazon, I don't know. But get a few electric heaters, especially if you live somewhere in the north where you know, your gas could go out, or you might lose your furnace, but you still might have electricity. Having a few mobile electric heaters you can plug into some rooms in your house and heat those rooms will be a lifesaver. I learned that the first time my furnace went out. I bought those, and the second time my furnace went out, I woke up pissed, but at least I had electric heaters to heat some rooms in my house. So stock up on a few of those if you can. Now, if you're in a real survival situation, and this will work for both your car or your home, right? But I'm going to use the example of your car. Let's get into just something I like to have. Boom. Open up your car kit. Grab your road flares, right? That's going to be important. Road flares are a lot of fun. Grab your road flares, grab your spare tire, collect a bunch of kindling, then burnable wood, and then a few boulder or small boulders or good size rocks. Bricks, if you have those, will work well. Not necessarily cinder blocks, but old school red bricks will work better. And then also perhaps a few stainless steel water bottles. And I'll show you where we're going with this. Take your road flare, get your wet wood, light your road flare, put it in the hubcap or inside the metal part of your spare tire. Then put your wood, your kindling, and then your burnable wood going. That road flare will burn hot enough to get that fire going. Any wet wood condition, a road flare should burn through enough to the point where you can get a sustainable fire. After you have a sustainable fire going, that's good heat outside, right? But if you have to take that heat into a confined space where you can't, take the whole spare tire in because it would burn down whatever you're in. If you're in a car or a tent or maybe a burnable hut or your house, you can't just take an open fire inside. It's kind of dangerous. So what you can do is take those good sized rocks or those red bricks. Again, cinder blocks, a little bit brittle or too big. I wouldn't use those. But red bricks or good sized rocks, you put those in the fire around the embers. Let it cook, let it get hot. Obviously you can't grab it with your hands, but have a good way to move the rocks or bricks that you won't burn yourself. But those dense rocks or bricks will retain all that heat, and then you move it on the inside of wherever you're at. And that is a good way to have a mobile heater, right? And I don't know all the mumbo jumbo behind thermodynamics, but if you take something that is hot and move it into a space that is cold, the energy from that hot rock will expand out into whatever survival situation you're trying to make warm. Good Lord, am I rambling too much? Probably. Just take this away. The lizard people were right. Hot rocks work to keep you warm. I also do believe in wearing nice, warm, cozy clothes in the winter. Why? Because they make me feel pretty, and also it's a good way to stay warm, right? On the cheap, if you need to be cheap, but it is also just a good way to stay warm. I bust out my stylish thermals in the winter. There's some long underpants. You know what I mean? Those are fun. I like to get skiing or snowboarder stocks. Any outdoor kind of athletic apparel is going to be great because outdoor winter athletic apparel will keep you warm while also keeping your sweat away from your body, whisking sweat away. There's a couple of reasons you want to wear layers in the winter. One, the hotter you get, right, from too many layers, you can peel them off so you don't get too hot and sweat. Because if you start to sweat and then that starts to freeze, you can get into hypothermic situations. Sweating in freezing conditions can actually lead to a quicker death. You might think, oh, I'm sweating, I'm so warm, this is great. No, that's bad, right? Moisture is your enemy in a survival situation in Arctic or freezing conditions. You want to get it just right. You don't want a bed that's too soft. You don't want a bed that's too hard. Damn, I should have said porridge. That makes way more sense. You want the porridge that's just right. Who cares about the beds? I mean, if it's cold out, a nice bed's nice. But you get what I'm saying, Goldilocks in the middle. But the more layers you have more pockets of air to trap your own body heat and bring it on back. That's not exactly right. I'm sure it's not right. And as a matter of fact, if you're a scientist, please correct me on this. Am I right? No, I'm wrong. Okay. Well, anyways, to my understanding, the more layers you have on, the more pockets of air you have in between you and the cold air, and thus, for some sort of physics reason, you stay warm. Layer up. You get it. All right. When it comes to the type of clothes I like to wear to survive in the apocalypse in the winter, I would go with a solid wool first. The reason I like wool clothing in the winter is because when wool gets wet, it doesn't lose its ability to retain the heat you are putting out. I don't know. When wool gets wet, it keeps you warm. Whereas stuff like cotton or certain acrylics, if it gets wet, it's going to get freezing cold. I've gone hiking and I've worn cotton t-shirts. I've gotten wet in those cotton t-shirts, and good Lord, if it's not the summer, it's hellish, right? In the summer, you're like, wow, this feels great, cotton and water, woo-wee. But in the winter, you will be colder than hell inside of minutes. Go with warm wool clothes. Wool makes for great tinder. If you have wool socks on or a wool blanket or wool shirts or underpants or, you know, overcoat, anything made of wool, you can pull those little woolen fibers out, right? And put that in your tinder bundle, and boom, y'all remember that. Now, I guess I didn't hit on that either, but you should have a sleeping bag of good quality in your car at all times, and have some in your home as well. Blankets and pillows are great, right? Especially if you're at your house or in your car. But say it's, you know, you're without power, you're without gas all winter long, and you live in Michigan, you are going to want some thermal bags, right? Something that you can really sleep in that will trap your heat. I keep a thermal blanket, right? You see that there? One of these thermal, you guys see it? Thermal space blanket. Now, I don't know if these are made of mylar or nylar or some such nonsense, but these things are essentially supercharged tinfoil. Whoop, whoop, look at that. It's ribbon. They're super thin. Get yourself a space blankie. And then, well, I done wrecked it now. Might as well undo it, Lou. No, I'm saving it, damn it. Alright, everybody. So I think that covers a lot of little things, hacks that you can have to survive and stay warm in the winter apocalypse to come. So until next time, everybody, keep your protein intake high and your weapons loaded. And you'll be alright, because you're surviving the apocalypse with Lou. And you know what? I'm surviving it with you. I feel like, yeah, man, we're doing okay. Still got this. Alright. Oh, my God, blue tart. You forgot to tell him to get a blue tart. Alright, that'll do. That'll do, pig.